Hi, I'm Amy from Amy's Healthy Baking. Here in my kitchen, I like to share recipes that are lightened up and full of flavor. Today, I'm making carrot oatmeal scones. They're soft and tender on the inside, and they're full of cozy spices and carrots, which makes them taste really similar to carrot cake. So if you're ready to bake, let's get started. This recipe begins with one of my pantry staples, Bob's Red Mill Quick Cooking Oats. Quick cooking oats are smaller and thinner than old-fashioned rolled oats. This means they soften faster, which gives your scones a really nice, soft and tender texture. You'll mix them with some Greek yogurt, which adds moisture and a protein boost. Some pure maple syrup, and a bit of vanilla. Then you'll stir these together. I'm only using a small amount of maple syrup, not too much. That's because I want these to be breakfast scones, so they won't be quite as sweet as a slice of traditional carrot cake, but they'll still have the same cozy flavors. Then you'll set this aside as you move on to the next step. This lets the oats start soaking up moisture now, which gives them a softening head start, and that helps create a more soft and tender texture in your scones. This next step begins with another one of my pantry staples, Bob's Red Mill whole wheat flour. It's a higher protein flour and it's really versatile. I've used it to make muffins, cookies, snack cakes, quick breads, scones, and so much more. You'll add in some spices and some baking powder and salt. And then whisk these together. I like to add both cinnamon and nutmeg to these scones. The cinnamon adds that warm, cozy flavor that's so iconic of carrot cake. And the nutmeg adds a subtle richness and depth. It's a small amount, but it makes a big difference in the flavor of your scones. Next, you'll work in some cold butter. I like to use a pastry cutter to do this because it makes the process faster and easier. But if you don't have one, a fork works well too. I use less butter to make these scones than you'll find in many traditional recipes. However, because of the yogurt that you mixed in with the oats earlier, these scones still turned out just as soft and tender. Now make a well in the center. Then you'll add in the oat mixture and some milk. Then stir all of this together. The scone dough may look a little stiff or dry right now, but that's okay. When we fold in the carrots, they'll add moisture back into the dough. The dough is all done and ready to bake. I've lined a baking sheet with a silicone baking mat. If you don't have one, parchment paper also works. Then you'll transfer the dough onto this and shape it into a circle. Then you'll brush the tops and the sides with milk. This seals moisture into the dough, and it also creates a hint of a crust on the outside. Then cut the dough into sections. I leave them touching, and I don't separate them. This helps trap moisture into the dough, which again helps with that soft and tender texture. Time to bake. I just pulled the scones out of the oven. They rose nicely and turned a beautiful golden brown, and you can smell the cozy spices. You'll let them sit on the baking sheet for a few minutes and then transfer them to a wire rack. So I have a trick for transferring the scones from the warm baking sheet onto the cooling rack, and that is to pick up the silicone baking mat, slide it to the edge of the baking sheet so the scones are partially hanging off, and in Uchi technical term, the wire rack underneath the scones. And now for the best part. They're soft on the inside. You can taste the warm cinnamon and rich nutmeg. The oats add to that cozy comfort food feel, and the carrots make them taste like a slice of carrot cake. And I don't know about you, but carrot cake for breakfast sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more delicious lightened up recipes. You can find a printable version of this recipe on my website, amyshealthybaking.com. And when you make these scones, please leave me a comment and tell me what you think. I always love to hear from you. Next, you'll work in some cold butter. Well, proof it's cold, it's sticking to the bowl.